So, the Demon's Souls remake has been out for some time now, and after beating it multiple times, I thought that this would be a good time to make this video. Before we get into why I love this remake so much, I'd like to preface that when I say that this is a perfect remake, I don't mean without flaw. In my opinion, no game is 100% perfect, so when I say that this is a perfect remake, I more so mean that this game is one of the best remakes I've ever played and is legendary, and if you're a fan of the original, or a Souls fan in general, then you need to get this game. With that out of the way, let's get into the video. First of all, I want to get my couple of minor nitpicks out of the way. The obvious one is the Digital Deluxe Edition. If you shelled out an extra $20, then you would get the soundtrack and some extra goodies when starting a character. Keep in mind, this game is $70 just for the base game, so that would be $90 total. This wouldn't matter at all if it wasn't for the fact that 4 of these goodies, being the Hoplite Shield, Ritual Blade, Red-Eye Knight Armor, and the Boletarian Royalty Armor, cannot be obtained by people who did not get the Digital Deluxe Edition. These 4 items were not in the original game, and the sword and shield can't be upgraded, so they're really only good in the early game at least, but it's still annoying that people who didn't pay more can never get these items. Who knows, maybe in the future Bluepoint can reverse these decisions, or sell these items for a couple of bucks. It's worth noting too that you shouldn't blame Bluepoint for this, as it was most likely Sony or a higher up at Bluepoint who made this decision. My next gripe is the remade intro. If you saw my video about why Demon's Souls is so special, then you'll know that the PS3 intro of Demon's Souls is my favorite intro in the entire Souls series. Now, this remade intro itself is not bad at all. It recreates the scenes from the original very nicely, and I love how the part where the God Dragon shows up is now on a rainy night at the entrance of the Boletarian Palace. The problem for me is the remade version of the song.
Oh my god! Oh! Oh my fucking god! Oh no! Oh Jesus fucking! Oh! Oh! Oh my god! Oh! Oh my fucking god! Oh no! Oh Jesus fucking! Oh!
As you can see, the bump-bums, as I like to call them, are in different spots, and the tempo of the song is different, as well as the song is missing the brass and other parts of the chorus from the original version. This actually segues perfectly into my final nitpick or gripe with this remake, and that is that while the remade music is good, it's in this interesting spot where some of the songs sound way better than the original versions, others don't have the same tone as the original, and others are almost completely unrecognizable. Take Flamelurker's theme, for example. personally think that this remade version is way better than the original. King Alon's theme was amazingly recreated here, but it has a vastly different tone from the original. Holy shit. I honestly don't know which version I like better. Like, they're both so damn good. But you see what I mean about the tone, right? Then there are themes like Phalanx and the Tower Knight, which are so different that they're almost unrecognizable. Again, I don't think that any of the music in this remake is bad on its own. It's just that some of these remade tracks seem to have strayed away a little too much from their original versions for my personal taste. Even though overall I like these remade tracks, I think that it would be really cool if Bluepoint released an original soundtrack swap as either an option or as DLC for a couple of bucks. Kind of like how the Resident Evil 2 remake did. Alright, now that those little nitpicks are out of the way, I can finally start gushing about this game. Guys, this game is truly a must-buy for the PS5, and at the moment is the killer app of the entire system. Never in my life have I played a game that looks this good graphically. Bluepoint truly are the gods of remakes, as they added so much life to this already amazing game. The character creator is not only the best it has ever been in a Souls game, but is actually one of the best that I've ever seen. When characters talk, they actually have facial animations now, and yes, believe it or not, in all of the previous Souls games, when a character would talk, you would just hear them and their mouth wouldn't move. Not only are these facial animations a first for the series, they are best in class. There's also a photo mode and visual filters you can play the game with, and you can also create your own visual filters too. 4K and 60 FPS is also so buttery smooth, and seeing this game on a video truly doesn't do the graphics justice. But just look at this. Do I need to say more? The attention to detail in this remake is just absolutely insane. Just look at the way the dust comes off of this elevator in Stonefang Mine after you activate it. The flashes of lightning in the Tower of Latria, or the crackle of the spells as they leave your wand. Those are just a few examples, and I could go on about how gorgeous this game is, but just looking at the game says it all. In terms of gameplay, the game is exactly as you remember it. Bluepoint only really added in a few new items, like the rest of the official set and the Blue Eye Knight set. They also added in quality of life features. While item burden is still in the game, you no longer have to return to the Nexus to store stuff. There's simply an option to send items to storage directly from your inventory, omnidirectional rolling, the password system for online, and an entire server browser for online as well. And after defeating your first Archdemon, you no longer have to warp back to the Nexus every time you want to go between the Archstones. These quality of life features are amazing. Probably forgetting some. As I said before, the gameplay is exactly how you remember it. The world tendency and the character tendency features are back in full force. Spells are used just as fast as you remember. The Firestorm spell is just as OP as ever, and best of all, the AI in this remake is exactly the same as it was back in 09. I'm not kidding, Bluepoint literally used the code from the original game for all of the AI, and while some people may not like this decision, I love it. It's so charming and nostalgic to see the enemies do stupid things like fall to their deaths, or just seeing certain bosses act all janky. Look at Flame Lurker just jankily moving around the arena. It's also great because if you played the original game, you'll still have your muscle memory, and for newcomers, they get to fight all of the enemies and bosses exactly as we did in the original. Everything that I said in my video about why Demon Souls is so special still holds true in this remake. The gameplay, the world, the characters, the lore, literally everything that I said and more. The story is exactly the same, and all of the cutscenes have been masterfully recreated. The couple of cutscenes early on that are made mostly of illustrations look amazing and are subtly animated. Take a look at this part of the cutscene after creating a new character. You can see these demons absorbing the souls of the humans. They even got most, if not all, of the original voice actors to reprise their roles. The amount of options that Bluepoint gives us in this game is probably the closest thing that a console game has ever had to PC games options. As I said earlier, there's a server browser for online play. You can choose between cinematic mode, which is 30 FPS at a native 4K with ray tracing, or a performance mode with 60 FPS and a dynamic 4K. I personally prefer performance because, come on, 60 FPS is so much better than 30. Filters for the game, you can turn off your HUD, hide your character's helmet, turn on or turn off film grain, and much more. While this next thing is more of a PS5 thing as a whole, the haptic feedback in the controller is absolutely mental. Metal striking flesh has a different feeling than metal striking metal. You can feel the crackle of a spell as you cast it, and even after it hits an enemy. If you light your sword on fire, you can feel the fire reverberating off of the sword as you move it around or swing it, and so much more. You can even feel spatial relations through the haptics in the controller. It's insane. It's one of those things where explaining it doesn't really do it justice, you just have to experience it for yourself. The haptics in the controller plus the 3D audio add a whole new layer of immersion that was previously impossible. Like I said, this remake is everything that made the original so special and more. Bluepoint have really killed it with this game and truly cemented themselves as the gods of remakes, as this is one of the most faithful remakes that I've ever played. I can't wait to see what Bluepoint does next, and as you can tell, I love this game. A remake should set out to be faithful to the original and recreate everything that people loved the game for in the first place, while also enhancing those aspects, and Demon Souls for the PS5 is one of those remakes. Thanks so much for watching, guys. I really hope that you enjoyed this video, and honestly, I'm sorry that this didn't come out sooner. I've had the script written for a while, but I'm super excited for these next couple of videos that I have planned, and I'll give you guys a hint right now for what the next one is going to be. It's going to be about another game that came out in 2020, but one that disappointed the hell out of me. But anyways, thanks again for watching this video. If you could do me a favor and hit the like and subscribe buttons, I'd really appreciate it. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace!